A pre-prophethood era. According to the widely accepted view among various reports, Prophet Muhammad was born on a Monday, the 12th of Rabi al-Awwal, 50 or 55 days after the event of the elephant in Mecca, considered the ancestral homeland of the Adnanites. The astronomer Mahmud Pasha al-Falaki, based on the solar eclipse that occurred at the time of the death of the Prophet's son Ibrahim, identified the date as the 9th of Rabi al-Awwal in the year of the event of the elephant, April 20th, 571. Meanwhile, Muhammad Hamidullah, taking into account the practice of Nasi, calendar adjustment, among the pre-Islamic Arabs, calculated the date of birth as the 12th of Rabi al-Awwal in the 53rd year before the Hijrah, June 17th, 569. Prophet Muhammad's father, Abdullah, was highly admired among his peers. His grandfather, al-Muttalib, while rediscovering and restoring the Zamzam well, made a vow to sacrifice one of his sons if he were to have 10. When the lot fell upon his youngest son, Abdullah, al-Muttalib decided to sacrifice him. However, many, including his daughters, opposed this decision, leading al-Muttalib to sacrifice 100 camels in Abdullah's place. As a result, Prophet Muhammad later remarked, referring to this event as well as to his great ancestor Ishmael, the son of Abraham, "I am the son of 2 sacrifices." Abdullah married Amina when he was around 18 years old. According to common reports, while returning from a trade journey to Syria, Abdullah stopped in Yathrib, Medina, where he fell ill and passed away. His mother, Amina, was the daughter of Wahb ibn Abd Manaf, a member of the Banu Zuhra clan of the Quraysh tribe. Islamic sources mention various extraordinary events that are reported to have occurred from the time the Prophet entered his mother's womb until his birth. In one of his statements, in which he expressed that he was the final prophet, he mentioned that his mother had a dream that led her to believe she was carrying an important child, and that she was advised to name him Muhammad or Ahmad. During the birth, Amina did not experience the usual pains that other mothers endure, and sent word to her father-in-law, al-Muttalib, to announce the birth of his grandson. In celebration of the birth, al-Muttalib hosted a feast, during which he named the newborn Muhammad. Some reports suggest that Muhammad was circumcised during this feast by his grandfather, though it is more widely reported that he was born already circumcised. It is understood that Amina was unable to nurse her child for long. For a period, Prophet Muhammad was nursed by Abu Lahab's slave woman, Thuwayba. Later, following the tradition of Meccan families who entrusted their children to wet nurses from Bedouin tribes in order to raise them in the healthy desert air and to teach them eloquent Arabic, he was given to Halima bint Abu Talib from the Sa'd ibn Bakr clan of the Hawazin tribe. Prophet Muhammad spent the first 2 years of his childhood with his wet nurse Halima, her husband Harith, and their children Abdullah, Unaisa, and Shaima. After 2 years, Halima took the child back to Mecca to return him to his family. However, Amina, noting the beneficial effects of the desert air on her son, according to some reports due to a plague in Mecca, decided it was better for him to stay with Halima for a while longer. Prophet Muhammad remained with his wet nurse until he was 4 or 5 years old. The sources report that after taking Muhammad in, Halima and her family not only experienced prosperity, but also encountered some extraordinary events. When Muhammad turned 6, Amina took him along with their servant, Ayman, to visit the Banu Najjar, the relatives of al-Muttalib through his mother, and to visit the grave of Abdullah in Yathrib. After staying in Yathrib for about a month, Amina fell ill and passed away in al-Abwa, approximately 190 kilometers from Medina, on their return journey. Ayman brought Muhammad back to Mecca and entrusted him to his grandfather, al-Muttalib. Abd al-Muttalib cared deeply for Muhammad, taking him to meetings at Dar al-Nadwa and showing him fatherly love and affection. Before his death, al-Muttalib entrusted the care of Muhammad, then 8 years old, to his son Abu Talib, the full brother of Abdullah. Abu Talib loved Muhammad more than his own children, believed that he brought good fortune, and made efforts to raise him well. Fatima bint Asad, Abu Talib's wife, whom the Prophet later referred to as his second mother, also showed Muhammad more care than she did her own children. Even after Muhammad's prophethood, Abu Talib remained by his side and did everything he could to protect him. When Prophet Muhammad was around 9 or 12 years old, he accompanied his uncle on a trading journey to Syria. The caravan stopped in Busra, located in Syrian territory. It is debated whether Prophet Muhammad met the monk Bahira during this time and what was discussed between them. It is known that Prophet Muhammad, at the age of around 10, tended the sheep of his uncle Abu Talib or others to assist his uncle, who had a large family. After prophethood, when asked about this, he stated that every prophet had tended sheep. It is widely accepted among different reports that Prophet Muhammad accompanied his uncles during the fourth of the Fijar Wars, but did not actively participate in the fighting. His age during this time is mentioned as 14, 15, 17 or 20. Shortly after this war, he took part in the Hilf al-Fudul assembly. The members of this pact swore to protect those who were wronged. After becoming a prophet, Prophet Muhammad praised this alliance and stated that if he were called to participate in such a noble pact again, he would not hesitate to join. It is well known that the members of the Quraysh tribe in Mecca were engaged in trade. Prophet Muhammad began his involvement in commerce by helping his uncle Abu Talib, who traded in cloth and grain. In later years, as his uncle grew older, Prophet Muhammad continued in trade on his own and entered into a commercial partnership with a man from Mecca. During this time, he traveled to various places for trade. It is known that during his adolescence, he attended the Hubasha fair, traveled once or twice to Yemen, and visited the fairs in Mushaka and Darba in eastern Arabia, and even Abyssinia. Through these travels, he not only learned about trade, but also gained the opportunity to closely observe the people living in different regions of Arabia, their languages and dialects, and their religious, political, and social conditions. According to unanimous sources, Prophet Muhammad led a pure life, free from the prevalent vices of the pre-Islamic period. His reputation for chastity, courage, compassion, and justice, as well as his trustworthiness in business, earned him the title Muhammad al-Amin, the trustworthy. When Prophet Muhammad was in his early 20s, he began receiving offers to embark on trade journeys. After successfully managing the goods of a merchant who was unable to travel due to illness, he received further offers. His marriage to Khadija bint Khuwailid occurred after these commercial ventures. Khadija, a wealthy and noble woman who had been widowed twice, and whose lineage converged with that of Prophet Muhammad's in previous generations, offered him a business partnership based on a recommendation. After an agreement was reached, Prophet Muhammad, along with Khadija's servant Maisara, traveled to Syria and returned to Mecca with a profitable outcome. Impressed with the results, Khadija's trust and admiration for Prophet Muhammad grew. Khadija, either personally or through a woman named Nafisa bint Umayyah, proposed marriage to him, and Prophet Muhammad accepted the proposal. His uncles sought Khadija's hand from her uncle Amr ibn Asad, and once the marriage was finalized, Prophet Muhammad moved from the house of Abu Talib to that of Khadija. It is said that at the time of the marriage, Prophet Muhammad was 25 years old and Khadija was 40, although there are reports suggesting that Khadija was younger. The narration from Ibn Abbas, which states that Khadija was 28 years old, seems more plausible considering the fact that 7 or 6 children were born from this marriage. There is little information in the sources regarding Prophet Muhammad's life from his marriage until the age of 40. The only notable event mentioned during this period occurred when he was about 35 years old. In 605 CE, when the Quraysh were rebuilding the Kaaba, a dispute arose regarding the placement of the black stone, with some even willing to go to war over the issue. Abu Umayyah ibn Mughira, a leader of the Quraysh, proposed that the first person to enter the Banu Shayba gate should be entrusted with making the decision. When Prophet Muhammad entered through the gate, he placed the black stone in a cloth, and all the tribal leaders together lifted it. Then he personally set the stone in its place.